Welcome back to the podcast. If you've been listening for a while, I would greatly appreciate if you could go to wherever you listen to this podcast on and just click on the rating and give me 5 stars, because it helps other people find this podcast and it just makes it look a bit better. I think on Spotify, I'm at like 4.3 stars. I'm not sure who has given me less than 5, but if you have a problem with the podcast, let me know and I'll do my best to do better. But I would massively appreciate if you could just take 5 seconds of your time and leave a 5-star review on this podcast, because it will help greatly. And in addition to that, I would really appreciate it as well if you could maybe just let a friend know about this podcast. If you see someone commenting on a TikTok or an Instagram post about wanting help with their business, just share the word about Self-Made, tell them where they can find the podcast and that it's a good, valuable listen, and let's grow this community together, because as I always like to say, a rising tide raises all ships. So we're in this together. There's no such thing as competition at a micro level, especially in an industry as fragmented as ours. So let's just help each other grow. All right, so with that out of the way, I want to talk about products. I mentioned this in the last episode, and I'm actually sticking to my word for once. So I'm going to talk about my favorite products, my journey from starting the business to where I am now, and how I've developed our product ecosystem and what we use and what we use it for, and kind of that whole journey and ideology that's gone into all of the decisions we've made. So, we'll just kick things off by, I guess I'll take it all the way back to when I started the business, and I guess kind of where everyone starts. You know, there's 3 sort of categories that I kind of put people into when they start a cleaning business or when they're further along. So you've got the category of people who just go to the supermarket and buy whatever cleaning products they think they need because it's easy, it's accessible, and the labels clearly say what it is. You know, you've got like when I started, I was using Ajax bathroom cleaner. I was using Basistos, general purpose spray, all this stuff. And so that's where people generally start. And it's because it's low hanging fruit and it's easy. And then further along into the journey, you realize that the products from the supermarkets are too expensive for what they are. They're watered down and they don't actually do that great of a job. So you kind of start looking into concentrates, and you might get some upgraded, like better chemicals for like better than, Windex. Instead of that, you'll get Halo, and you'll be like, well, this is such a better cleaner than Windex, even if it costs a bit more, or maybe it costs less, but usually it's going to cost a bit more to get the premium products that the pros use. And so you begin to develop your product range into having these more premium products. And then eventually you realize the costs are really racking up. You're getting annoyed because you have to keep buying bottles and bottles of this stuff. So you move over to the bulk concentrates. And that's when you're buying your 5, 10, 15, maybe even 25 litre concentrates. And now you're saving like 10,000% on your cleaning product expenditure. So those are the 3 categories. You've got the starter, which just buys all their products off the supermarket shelves. You've got the kind of intermediate, which is where you start to look at more premium products. And then I guess you've got the professional, which is where you're using bulk concentrates. You've done a lot of research into products and you know exactly what you want. And so when I started, I did what probably most people do. I went to Woolies and Coles and just went to the cleaning aisle. If it said bathroom cleaner, I got that because I'm like, I need to clean a bathroom. I got a kitchen cleaner. That's how naive and unexperienced I was. I thought that you really needed a different cleaning spray for every room of the house. Obviously now we know that's just a marketing gimmick. There's really no difference between a lot of these products. So yeah, I bought a bathroom cleaner, kitchen cleaner, all this stuff. I bought a floor cleaner that was actually pretty good. That was I think it was the Handy Andy floor cleaner. It's actually, I love the smell of that. But anyway, so I was using that for a while, and I was using like cloths from Bunnings that just weren't that great. And that got me so far. But then after a while, I was like, I feel like this is leaving a lot to be desired. So I started to look into better products, things that would save me money in the long run, because I was now doing a lot of cleaning. And then I came across products that were more designed for professionals to deliver professional results, rather than just the homeowner who wants to just, do a quick once over of their kitchen benches. And so that's when I started to find things like Halo. That's when I found Crossfire and things like that. So that's when I started to develop my range a little bit more. And then I moved over into the bulk concentrates, which is what we have now. I'm actually in my storage shed right now. So above me, I've got 15 litres of Crossfire. I've got 15 litres of EnviroClean Vigor all-purpose spray. I've got 15 litres of EnviroCare floor cleaner, 15 liters of Halo, 15 liters of Sapphire, which is the new thing that we have replaced One Shot with, because One Shot stinks. It sucks now. I don't know what they've done to it. And so please don't go and buy all the Sapphire on the shelves, because I did that with One Shot. I told everyone I use One Shot and then I couldn't buy it anymore. But yeah, Sapphire, it's got the same ingredients. I'll read the bottle here. It's got around 10% sulfamic acid, so similar to One Shot, and it's also got some other active ingredients like benzalkonium chloride, whatever that is, but it works well. You can use it on shower screens and your toilets and shower tiles and things like that. So anyway, I'm off on a tangent, but that's where we're at now. So I'll quickly talk about all the products I use now and the prices of things, if I can remember, because I don't have notes in front of me or anything, and kind of what their use cases are and things like that. And I also want to preface this by saying that you're always going to be changing what products you use in the business. If you're, 1-2 years into the business, things are just going to change over and over again. And it's going to get to a point where, you've tried every possible thing that you can imagine. So then you just settle for what products you like the most, or what you think is the most cost effective, or what fits your brand the best. Like if you're an eco-friendly brand, you found the best green cleaning products that kind of reflect what you do. So you're going to constantly change all your products until you get to a certain point like we did. It took us like almost 3 years to really nail down what products we're using. And so for that reason, one thing I really recommend is that you don't call things by their brand name, because it makes it easier for you to train people on how to use them, and it's easier for you to designate areas for those cleaners to be used in. So for example, like we used to use One Shot. We still have to use it because we've got like 50 liters of it that we got to go through. And so all the team members call it One Shot. And so when we switch over to Sapphire, they're going to be confused because they're calling it One Shot when it's not that anymore. And so they're like, oh, so what's this used on? And then we have to re-explain like, oh, this is just replacing what we had. You can use it in the same way on the same things. And so the way around that is, like, we've been doing this for a while now with a lot of the new people, is that we just call them for what they are. Like, bleach is bleach. So, we don't call it like Sally's Rapid Mold Killer or Mold Killer. Just call it bleach. If we've got our EnviroCare spray, we call that just all-purpose spray. We don't call it by the brand name. Halo, we just call that glass cleaner, because, if we changed Halo to something else, that would confuse people. And that would mean that training modules using Halo are no longer evergreen, because if I'm showing someone how to use Halo and I'm constantly referring to it as Halo, and Halo is front and center with their branding, then if I ever change the product, I can't use that same video because it isn't congruent anymore. So call things by what they are, not what the brand name is. That's one big piece of advice I'll give to you, because it's going to make your training a lot more streamlined. It's going to make it easier for you to scale up, especially when you have a big team of staff and you need to retrain people for that. And so like One Shot, instead of calling it One Shot, you call it like a hard water cleaner or a scaler or just bathroom cleaner, whatever you want. So that's a really good tip. But yeah, we try to range down a lot as well, because it's really easy, especially in house cleaning, to have just a massive assortment of different products. And it's like things become so convoluted, and it's confusing to you, it's confusing to the customer, and it's confusing to the staff members on what they need to use. So we've also tried over the years just to range down as much as we possibly can, while still having that premium touch on our services, and while still having, all the things we need to deliver on an exceptional clean. And so we've got our all-purpose spray, of course, which is used for like 80% of the cleans. We've got our bathroom cleaner, which used to be One Shot. We've got a floor cleaner. We've got a cream cleaner. We've got a stainless steel polish, which is rarely ever used, but we just need it because it's so good. We've got our glass cleaner. We've got a degreaser, and we've got bleach. So that's pretty much our entire product range. We use that for all the commercial cleans, all the residential cleans. And we've also got a deodorizer, which barely gets used as well. So like one bottle of Florigen deodorizer will last a cleaner like 6 months, right? So that's our range, and, really happy with it. We deliver good results. Everyone's up to speed on what everything is and what it does. And we've got clear training modules based around this kit. And so that's really all you, sorry, I dropped my microphone. That's really all you need to do what we do. So people try to complicate it, and they have different sprays for, like I said, different rooms of the house. Like they'll have a bathroom cleaner and a kitchen cleaner and an oven cleaner and a grill cleaner. It's like a lot of these have the same chemicals and active ingredients inside of them. You don't need all these different things. So, and even things like Pherol, people say it's a gimmick because you can't really just use one thing for everything. It's kind of true and it's kind of not. Like you can use an all-purpose spray to clean the entire house. You could use it on glass. You can use it on anything. It's just going to take you a bit longer to do certain things, and it's not going to leave as good of a finish on certain things. Like glass, you can use it for glass. Like it will come up clean, but like if you use Halo, for example, like isopropyl alcohol, it dries faster and leaves it more streak-free. So you're better off using that. Like you could use all-purpose spray, but you're better off using the other thing. So it's a lot better for commercial, because in commercial, especially with like industrial cleaners, you can just use all-purpose spray for pretty much everything. I'm friends with a lot of people who have commercial cleaning businesses, and their kits that they give to their staff, there's like 4 things in it. And it's because they don't need to worry about all the stuff that residential cleaners have to worry about. And so like commercial cleaning is just so much better in every possible way. It's just harder to get into. And so that's why the barrier for getting into house cleaning is so low. But it's also got its drawbacks, like we need to have a lot of products for what we do and stuff like that. And so I'll quickly just go over, so like where we are now, and I'll talk about the products we have now and how we got here. So like I said, like everyone, I just went into Woolies and the supermarkets and got whatever was on the shelf. And then over time, I developed the range into what it is. And we tried a lot of things that didn't work. I tried to replace my glass cleaner and my all-purpose spray just by using a dishwashing liquid. I found that it was really irritating my skin, and a few other people on the team, it was irritating their skin as well. So we had to can that. Certain laundry detergents that we used to use were really irritating people's skin. So we had to stop using that. And I found that for us, like I've tried lots of different sprays, and EnviroCare has the best all-purpose spray, in my opinion. Best smell, best effectiveness. It's really, really good. It's plant-based, so if you're an eco-friendly service and you really want to push for that, it's got that. It doesn't have really harsh chemicals in it. It's, in fact, I think it's derived from a eucalyptus plant. Same thing with their floor cleaner, plant-based, eucalyptus, all that stuff. And so we use EnviroCare for the general purpose spray and the floor cleaner. We use Halo for the glass cleaner. Obviously, if you're a professional cleaner by now, you'd know about Halo. There's a reason for that. It's really good. That's why everyone uses it. We still use Crossfire for degreaser. Honestly, we don't need to use Crossfire much anymore. I find that all-purpose spray can kind of do what Crossfire does, but you don't ever want to be in a position where you wish you had it. Like that 1% of the time where you just need a degreaser to cut through something really bad. We recently switched over from, we were still buying 2 things from the supermarket and Bunnings, and that was Jif and our stainless steel polish. I just could not find a good cream cleaner anywhere in bulk. And so we only just recently switched to a bulk one, and we're going to save a lot of money. We were spending a ridiculous amount of money on cream cleaner and stainless steel spray. Also, bleach. We was buying way too much bleach from supermarkets because same thing, we couldn't find one that we liked at a supply store. But I just bit the bullet, and we started buying sodium hypochlorite 4%. I think that's what it is in bulk. So sodium hypochlorite 4% is basically just bleach. Like mixed with water, it's bleach. And so we started buying straight bleach from a cleaning supply store in bulk. And so we've now got that. We've got a cream cleaner, and we've got a stainless steel polish that we use that is in bulk as well. So we're now effectively all bulk. All of our cleaning products are in bulk. For 30 staff, we've now cut our monthly spend for chemicals down to about $400. So think about how crazy that is. Look at a restaurant. If a restaurant had 30 staff, it's a pretty decent sized restaurant. How much money would they be spending on ingredients and food and stuff? Compare that to what we have to spend. $400 a month for 30 staff to deliver the service they need to do. Obviously for us, time is the biggest expense, but it really shocked me at just how cheap these chemicals can be in bulk. And it's like the exact same efficacy, if not better, than what you can buy for $5 a bottle at the supermarket. And we're finding the most expensive thing for us at the moment is bin bags. Like, we're going through an absolute truckload of bin bags every month. And our expenditure on bin bags is like the same as the chemicals. So the chemicals are really like the last thing you need to worry about in terms of spending. If you narrow down your selection and you get some good bulk cleaners, especially if you have a team of staff that's more than like 3 people, if you get a good selection of bulk concentrates and ignore all the white noise that's on the internet telling you that you need to buy these brands and this brand and that, all you need is, you need to just look at the science behind what you're using. Just look at the chemicals, look at the active ingredients, look at the SDSs, and you'll realize that a lot of these bulk concentrates, they have exactly what you need that's pretty comparable to what's on the supermarket shelf. And, you know, a lot of the time it's like less watered down. And so it does better for like 1/100th of the price. And so the best thing to do for you is, if you haven't already, you need to simplify your range down as much as possible, and also invest in the right products. Get the right concentrates, do your research into the SDSs and the chemicals that are in it. And this is good in more ways than one. So it's good for one, just to have a cheaper range and something that's more reliable, something you can count on, something that you don't need to restock every single week or every day even. But it's also good when you go and quote, because you're going to have more knowledge of chemicals and what goes into the products you're using. And so you can answer questions that a lot of customers have. Like, a lot of customers will ask things like, is this septic safe? Is this safe around kids? Is this safe around pets? Like, if you use this floor cleaner, can my kid go and crawl around on the floors after using this? And you can have a vast knowledge of the products that you use because you've researched into the SDSs and you know about the chemical compounds that are inside of them and the active ingredients. And you can answer these questions with absolute certainty and confidence. And that makes you seem more informed. It makes you seem like you've got more experience, and it makes you seem like more of an authority when you're quoting. So that's why I also implore people to educate themselves as much as they possibly can. If you see like a chemical handling course come up, like a TAFE thing, or even just online, like, go and do it. It's great to have more knowledge in the industry that you're in, because you can become more experienced and more knowledgeable and seen as more of an authority, so that you can win more quotes and create this harmonious cycle, this virtuous cycle, right? So there's lots of times where a customer might ask you a very specific question about products or chemicals, and you might not have the answer, and you might just like get called out and be like, oh, I'll look into that for you. Whereas if you knew the answer, you answering that question could be the difference between you getting that job or not getting that job. And it's also good for staff. Like, we always get potentially caught off guard by questions that staff have about chemicals. Like, all the time we get asked about if this chemical's safe for this, if it can be used for that. And a lot of the time it gets referred to me because I've now developed a pretty good lexicon of chemical knowledge. And like, I'm by no means an expert on this. I'm not a chemist. There's people out there who do a ton of research into it. Good example of that is Scott from King's Cleaning Co. That guy knows an absolute plethora of knowledge. He has so much knowledge on chemicals and SDSs and like the global harmonized system and all this stuff. Like, he knows everything. And so if you ever talk to that guy about chemicals, he has every answer for every question you could possibly have. And not only that, but he can provide insight and input and opinions on different things. And so he's able to accelerate conversations and take them in different directions based on his knowledge. And like, I'm nowhere near that, but I've got enough knowledge to the point where I can have a high level conversation with like a project manager of a big industrial or commercial site and come across as way more informed and knowledgeable and therefore an authority in my market because I know what I'm talking about. If you ever get asked a question about chemicals and you don't know the answer and you're a cleaner who deals with this stuff, it's not a great look. And so I really implore you to just Google whatever products you use, Google the SDS, learn about what the different active ingredients in it do, what it means for like pets and kids and septic tanks and this sort of thing, and just really get to know the products that you use. Because if you're going into people's houses with it, you want to make sure you know exactly what is in it. You want full transparency between you and the product, and therefore the customer as well, if they ever have questions. So that's kind of where I'm at with products. That's my 2 cents. This was kind of like a bit all over the place. I know I didn't really plan this episode. I was just like, I'm in my storage shed with all my chemicals surrounding me and all my clots, and I'm like, I want to talk about cleaning chemicals. So yeah, I know I went off on a bunch of different tangents, and I kind of had like 20 different trains of thought that I was talking about. So, but to summarize, like there's 3 categories. There's the beginner who buys stuff off the supermarket shelf. There's the intermediate who looks at replacing a few products with a more premium product. And then there's the professional who uses bulk concentrates and really knows their stuff. And so you should try to educate yourself as much as possible. If you see courses come out for chemical handling and, even like crime scene and trauma cleaning like I've done, if you see courses like that come out, just jump into it. Get more knowledge about what you do, because it's going to make you seem like more of an authority. It's going to make you better at answering questions and therefore winning jobs, because that's a lot of the time what it is. A sales presentation is really just about you answering someone's unanswered questions, or even better than that, you answer the questions that they ask you on the spot. So yeah, and also just range your products down as much as you can without sacrificing on efficiency, without sacrificing on quality and health. Those are the main kind of factors that you want to think about. So again, there's those 3 categories, and you want to make sure you're in the professional category as a professional cleaner. So think about your products and what you use now. If you're going into people's houses using Ajax and Jif, maybe it's time for you to step up a level and think about what you're doing. You also want to gain more knowledge about the chemicals you're using, because it's going to make you more of an authority. It's going to make you better at speaking about the service that you deliver, and it'll make it easier for you to actually close jobs, talk to staff about chemicals and answer their questions. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, I hope this episode was insightful in some way. I really should take notes and write stuff down, but so the prices of, I was going to say the prices of the stuff we use earlier, but the prices of what we use, I think we spend like $100 to get 15 litre concentrates of everything. And with a team of 30, we're finding that it lasts us like 2 or 3 months. So if you're going to gawk at the price of a concentrate, like it's really insignificant in the grand scheme of things. And if you've got a team of less than 5, just go for the 5 litre bottles, because 15 litres might last you too long to the point where the chemical expires before you even get to use it. So if you don't have a big enough team, don't go out there and buy the 15 litre concentrates just yet. Just pace yourself, but start to head in that direction, because it's a harmonious cycle, like I said, and it's going to make you look more professional and more organized and more informed about the service that you actually have and deliver. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on products. I'll probably talk about vacuums and cloths and that sort of thing, but I just wanted to do a quick one on chemicals. And yeah, I guess I haven't really done that yet. It's all been about like operations and marketing on this podcast so far, and we're almost like 50 episodes in. So I thought I'd just take a step back and talk about what actually goes into cleaning. So yeah, again, if you haven't already, please leave a 5-star review on this podcast. You can do that on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to this podcast on. Just drop a 5-star rating and leave a comment and a review if you can. Talk about takeaways you've had from this podcast, about your things you've liked that I've talked about, and just leave a comment, because I'll read all of them and I'll really appreciate that. And if you could share it with a friend or someone in need in the industry or looking to get into it, that would also be really, really awesome as well. So I'll leave you with that. I'm going to hop off this now. Sorry if the audio quality isn't great. I'm on my little like portable microphone that I bring with me when I go down to Bunbury. And so I'm in Bunbury right now. We're closing one of the biggest deals, actually the biggest deal that we've ever even quoted on. And so we're just about to cross over the finish line with it. This deal is worth $800,000 a year. And before that, like the biggest deal we'd ever closed was $400,000. So this is double what the biggest one we've ever gotten was. So this is really, really big for us. I'm really excited. And that all came from a funny story, actually. I'll quickly just plug this in before I head off. So we got a quote request to do one of the biggest buildings in the southwest of Western Australia. And the manager who was in charge of finding a new cleaner used to know my grandmother like 30 years ago, right? I lived across the road from my grandmother 30 years ago. And to my knowledge, they're not even really in contact anymore. But for some reason, she knew that my grandmother had a grandson with a cleaning business, and that cleaning business was reputable, and somehow knew that it was tied back to my grandmother. So she contacted Stacey, my manager, set up a quote and a walkthrough, and obviously Stacey killed it because she's great at sales and she's really good at building rapport, and we're closing in on that now. So yeah, sometimes you just need a little bit of luck in business. That's all it can take. The contract that's twice as big as anything we've ever gotten simply came from my grandmother living across the road from someone 30 years ago. So there you go. Business isn't all about black and white and this and that. Sometimes things just fall into your lap, but you take that. And the harder you work, the luckier you get. So, yeah, I've got a fridge beating next to me. I think it needs to be, I don't know what's going on with that. I'm in all sorts of chaos at the moment. So I'm going to get back to unpacking some of these products because I just did a big order. And yeah, so again, range of products down. Think about what category of a business owner you're in when it comes to the products you use, and gain more knowledge and experience, because it's going to make you more of an authority and someone who is a beaker of wisdom about this stuff. So yeah, hope that was a good episode for you. Let me know if you want to hear me talk more about products. It's not my forte, but I've definitely got a bit of experience and knowledge to share there. So thanks for listening to another episode of Self-Made. Make sure you leave a rating, because if you don't, I will come after you and your family. I'm just kidding. Have a great day or night wherever you are listening to this, and I'll talk to you again very soon.